Hi, welcome to Success Tips. I'm so excited about this episode of Success Tips. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for investing in yourself, taking the time to get information that will help you to be successful. That's why we're here every other week, and we bring you a success tip here at the Destiny Global Facebook page and on other social media so that you can get through the week, get something just to tide you over through the week to help you to focus, to help you to get something that you need to really keep going. Because here at Destiny Global, we want you to be successful. And I am so excited. This week, we're talking about capacity. And I am Dr. April Brown, and I am the capacity coach. And I'm also Executive Vice President of Coaching here at Destiny Global. And I want to help you to understand how you can actually increase your capacity. Do you ever feel over capacity? Do you ever feel like you just you don't know how you're going to get done, the things that you have a long list of things that you have to get done, and you don't know how you're going to get it, and you feel overwhelmed. You feel frustrated. You feel like you'll never get it done. And you know that there is possibly a way that you cannot feel so overwhelmed, so stressed out about it, and an overcapacity, but you just don't know how. Sometimes we have to just even acknowledge that and realize when we're over capacity. It's very important that we realize kind of our capacity level and we understand when we might be over capacity. And then we can actually help the people around us to understand that we're over capacity. We can acknowledge it ourselves and we can realize what is making us over capacity. What are the things that are actually really taking the most energy from me, the most time from me? But also to really just let people around you know when you already feel over capacity and then someone calls you and says that they want to do something with you, but you know that you're over capacity. How do you deal with that? You want, and sometimes it's things you really want to do, but you know you're already overextended. You already know that you've already committed to too much. So it's okay. It's okay to say, hey, you're really important to me, and I would really love to do this with you, but I'm just really over capacity right now. I have so many things on my plate, and I just can't commit to that right now. And it's okay. Just give yourself permission to say that it's just not something that you can fit in your schedule right now. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, that you should have all this capacity, because we're human. We can only do so much. We only have so much time in a day. So that's why we have to make sure that the time that we're using is as efficient as possible for the things we want to get done, for our goals, for the dreams that we have, and for the vision that we have for our life. We have to very much focus on what is value, what we value about ourselves, what we value about others, what we value in life. What are our values? And we live up to those values, because when we are like giving away to other people's values, to what they think is important, then it really diminishes our capacity. So we're looking for things that might diminish our capacity, and we're giving ourselves permission to let people know, to let our family know that, hey, I'm a little over capacity right now. Could I get some help with some things that are going on around the house? It's okay to ask for help, to let others know that you can't do it all. Sometimes we think that we have to do it all. That especially, well, anybody, but especially moms. Moms can think that they have to do it all. And the fact is that we can delegate. We can delegate to our children. We can delegate to our husband. We can delegate even to other people to come in and help us, to actually outsource some of the things that we can't get done because that's not what we value the most in our time. So it's okay. Give yourself permission to know that you only have so much capacity and what it is that is very important to you. What are your priorities? And focusing on that. So besides that, giving yourself permission, I have a couple of other secrets. These have helped me to actually increase my capacity to go from really not being able to do nearly as much as I do today to be able to be executive vice president of coaching here at Destiny Global, to do training our coaches, to do the things that I do here. I really, if you just asked me 4 years ago, I didn't have capacity, or felt like I didn't have capacity to do any of that as a mom, as a wife, and the things I was already doing. I mean, we newly moved here. We bought a farm. I'd never been a farmer. Never owned land before. I was a city girl. So I had to learn that at that point in my life, just learning a new thing, that I had less capacity, because sometimes when we're learning and we're completely out of our comfort zone, it might feel like we're decreasing our capacity because we're doing less things than we did before. But I was actually doing more than I'd ever done before. And it was just learning. I had a learning curve to learn how to take care of chickens, to learn how to take care of a farm, and I was growing a garden and all kinds of things I was doing, and learning how to do that I never really learned before. So sometimes when we're learning things, we have to give ourselves some grace and realize and really look realistically at where our capacity is. And maybe we're doing more than we ever did. It's not on autopilot. I wasn't able to do autopilot like before. So what really increases your capacity is sometimes when we get so stuck in our own ways of how we think things should be done, but it's not the most efficient way. We can sit there and we can think that maybe our way is the best, or what we have always done has been the best. But we have to always be willing to innovate, be willing to learn. We have to be teachable. Sometimes what we're doing is not the most efficient, and we have to be willing to learn from people who actually have more skill than we do. And we have to know what we don't know. We have to know that we don't know everything, right? That we have to understand that there are things that we might be needing to learn. And just getting in that attitude of being teachable, it really does expand your capacity. Because I think really moving here to a new place outside of the city that I grew up in, originally a city. It was a smaller city, but it's still a city. And then moving to Dallas, living in Dallas after I graduated from college and got married, living in Dallas for I think 25 something years. And then moving here in the last 4 years, I really had to get teachable and getting out of my comfort zone. That's the second thing. It's just really getting out of your comfort zone. Taking on challenges, taking on new challenges, and that can seem again like we're decreasing our capacity, but we're actually increasing it. Because anytime you're learning something, anytime you're getting out of your comfort zone, you're growing. You're growing your capacity. You're growing your ability to really expand your mind, your abilities, your skills, your relationship skills, your communication. And that makes it easier to do the things that you need to do. I promise you that you don't grow in your comfort zone. Nothing grows. You certainly do not grow your capacity in the comfort zone, because it's just status quo. You're just getting by. So really getting outside of your comfort zone and maybe learning something new. Maybe learning, and you might say, I don't have that capacity to learn something new on my plate. But that's just the thing. When you learn to put something new into your schedule and something new that you're learning, it expands your mind to even think of new ways to rearrange your schedule, thinking of new efficient ways to do how you've always done things. It really just expands your ability to think. We're always needing to expand our ability to think. Reading does that. And learning a new language can do that. Learning new skills can do that. That does bring me to my next one. Learn a new skill. Learn a new skill. And that's not about learning a new language. Sometimes it's more like learning relationship skills, learning communication skills. Something in how usually when we're over capacity, we're actually not communicating very well. 9 times out of 10, we aren't communicating about what is going on, and people keep putting stuff onto our plate. And sometimes we'll say stuff like, I'm busy, or stuff like that. And people might think that you're too busy to actually do the things that is your calling, is your passion. And then we get bombarded with things that we don't feel passionate about. And so it's mundane, and we get, dare I say, even bored with things. It was not ever a good word at our house, because literally I would just tell them, if you're bored, it's because you might be boring. We get to choose. We get to choose our attitude about things. We get to choose if we decide that this is boring or not, that we can make it fun. But that is the point, is our attitude about things. And realizing that learning a new skill in communication is so important. Personal skills. You need personal skills of how to understand other people better. It's so important to learn how to interact with other people, because usually we come in just expecting everybody to do things like we do, expecting everybody to communicate like we do, everybody to be motivated like we are. And that's not the case. Everybody to be on time, and we get frustrated. And it's those frustration and that stress of relationship or interactions that can actually decrease our capacity. So really learning new skills, personal skills, how to communicate. What are those things in your life that are stressing you out? And being honest with those things. If it is lack of communication in your marriage, with your kids, with your coworkers, with your boss, being honest about that could be decreasing your capacity and learning new skills. It's so, so important. And it's a lot of how I've increased my capacity, is to learn how to communicate with the people around me, how to communicate in the thing that helps to motivate them and encourages them, how to edify them. It's so important. If we want other people and we want to delegate, we can't just tell them to do it. Sometimes we have to communicate in a way that motivates them to do it. And sometimes, like our kids, and we get frustrated with how our kids don't do the things we ask them to do. And we'll walk in, and we've asked them 10 times, and we come in, and they still haven't done it. And so then we might even feel like we do it ourselves. Those are the things that actually decrease our capacity, because we get frustrated, and then we do it, and then we may not get the things done that we wanted to get done. And so at the end of the day, we don't feel as successful as we want to feel, and we can feel very overwhelmed and frustrated. So communication skill is so important. Personal skills is so important. One of the books that most influenced me or helped me to learn some of this and to realize how much I needed to learn it was How to Win Friends and Influence People. And really realizing that a lot of the problems were me. A lot of why I was overwhelmed and overcapacity was me, was how I was communicating, or the lack of communication. and really continuing to learn those skills. It's not a done deal. It's a continually learning and not becoming complacent with the skills that we have, knowing that we can continue to learn, we can continue to get personal skills of how to communicate with people. It's so important. It's one of the most important things that has helped me to increase my capacity. And it's important for you as well. So the last one that I will say is to open your mind. Open your mind to what is possible. Sometimes we have decrease of capacity and we can feel overwhelmed because we don't realize how much is possible. We don't realize how much we can do. We don't realize how much we can grow. We don't realize how much our mindset can actually hold us back and keep us stuck. And so having an open mind of the possible. What is possible for you? What is possible for you? What are you capable of that maybe you have not stretched yourself enough? It is about stretching yourself out of that comfort zone, learning something new, and getting the skills that you need, and being open to understand that you can learn these skills, that you are open to understand the possibility that there is more for you, that there is more opportunity for you. Because when we see that our abilities are limited, when we see that the opportunities around us are limited, then we can feel like this is it, and we can't do anymore, and we can't grow anymore. And so whatever container, that we have put ourselves in that has limited us, then that is what we always see our capacity as. And when we have all of these things to do and we don't have the skills and we don't have the maturity and we don't have, because we're not growing, then that limited capacity actually is what limits us, because we have not seen the possible. We have not grown our actual capacity, which if you look at a container and whatever you put into that container, that's what it can contain. And then it just feels like it's too full because that's all you see as that is possible. But when you stretch the container, when you stretch and you have a bigger container and you look at the possibility that you can do more, you can be more, you believe in what you can do and what is possible, then you begin to stretch your capacity. You begin to stretch the possibility of what is possible. And you continue to grow that, then the things that I'm telling you, I would not have believed, because I put myself in a container. I put myself in a very limited container of what I thought was possible. But when I really began to realize that it was possible, that I had the potential to do so much more, that my mind began to expand, to realize that I had more capacity. I had more potential to do more, so that I could but then I knew that I had to get teachable. I had to have an open mind and continue to stretch my mind about the possibilities. I had to continue to learn new skills of how to communicate with people, because what I was going to do and stretch myself for was going to take other people on a team around me, that I would have to have skills in order to do the things I wanted to do. And I began to work on these skills and work on not limiting my mind, not limiting my abilities to what I thought, but starting to stretch and open my mind to what was possible. And here, this is what happens when we stretch ourselves, when we actually look outside of ourselves and what we're doing right now to what is possible, not stay in the comfort zone. There's no growth in the comfort zone. So I wanted to let you know about something we're actually doing to help you to apply these skills, to apply what you've learned here, that we're actually going to be doing a 10-day challenge to help you to practice these things. And if you want to be a part of that 10-day challenge to help you to expand your capacity, then comment below. And we will definitely reach out to you. There's actually some information below and how you can join us. There's actually a Facebook group too that you can join so that you can follow along. We're going to start in September and it's going to go through the month of September. It's not just a sequential 10 days. Whenever you start, that's when you start, and finishing at the end of those 10 days. But a 10-day challenge where you're going to have exercises every single day to practice each of these things that I've given to you, to practice and put them into practice, and to stretch your mind and to stretch your ability to think about what capacity that you do have and how you can grow that capacity. And I would love to have you join us, because I believe that just as I have grown my capacity, you can grow your capacity too. And that's why I'm so big about how to help people to grow their capacity, even as a capacity coach, because this is such a huge thing that people can feel so overwhelmed and not realize that they have the ability to actually increase their capacity. That's why I love capacity. I know that there are so many multiple ways to increase your capacity, and I want to help you to do that. So join our 10-day challenge. You can comment challenge below and we will send a message to you, and there's information about it below as well. And we can't wait to have you join us and have you increase your capacity. And thank you so much for joining this episode of Success Tips. See you next time.